Supernated. This one would be fine. Why is this fucked up? Oh, there we go. Let's see what it says. Vanilla WoW Classic Era Whitemane Ret Paladin PvP. Is it D2R mod? I thought that wasn't allowed.
Level 60s that are basically auction house andes and a few dungeon runs out there to allow us to survive. But the point still remains that
All right.
even in unrestricted dueling in pure Nax gear, we're finding it difficult to kill each other. What the hell do you think it's going to look like for a bunch of fresh level 60s that are basically auction house andes and a few dungeon runs worth of gear? Good luck finding the window to kill each other. So, the best window to possibly kill somebody under just about any PvP circumstances is specifically a goblin bomb dispenser. One sec, I really don't want to pull that up real fast. Let's go goblin bomb. Shouldn't take long.
Must have been an update
so
because my shit reset.
Says 30-minute cooldown, right? Creates a mobile bomb that charges the nearest enemy and explodes for about 350 fire damage on a 30-minute cooldown. Why is this the king of any burst that you can possibly do in the game? It has to do with the fact that if I pull it up and I come down here and I see, let's see, blah, 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 blah. You'll notice that there's no shared cooldowns. So the thing about Goblin Bomb Dispenser is that it's the only burst trinket in the entire game that I've ever found, and I've tested all of them, that does not actually share a cooldown with any other trinket in the entire game. Any other burst trinket in the entire game. All the other burst trinkets in World of Warcraft share a cooldown with each other, so you can't just like double burst trinket on people. So for example, I can't Zandalari Hero Charm and 6 Demon Bag somebody because they share a cooldown. I can't skeleton summon on somebody and use a Defender of the Timbermaw trinket at the same time for a double summon because they share a cooldown. It'll literally
A great choice for players attempting hardcore leveling challenge and high survivability, massive burst damage, variety of support abilities. They are capable of handling many different challenges solo. Running through the melee attacks, adding additional damage with seal and judgment abilities. They also have defensive abilities such as Divine Shield, Blessing, and Sanctuary, which can be used to protect themselves. Blah 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 blah. Blah solo group play, make them strong. Blah 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 blah. That's great. What seal should I use? And Blessing of Might, apply Devotion Aura, watch Netflix. Spam Judgment on CD 11. Train. Use Ret Aura from now on. Concentration can be handy pickup to prevent spellcasting that back. Sticky situations. If you need Blessing of Wisdom, you're judging too much. Keep using Blessing of Might. Really? Interesting. Interesting. I mean, I'm okay with that. You typically should use Seal Command now. To use Exorcism, Holy Wrath, or Finding is on blah blah blah. 45 to 60. Start using Seal of the Crusader on every mob. You can usually start spamming Judgment again due to our bigger mana pool at these levels. Hammer Wrath should only be used on runners that may pull other mobs. The cast time and mana cost are both Pepega. Pepega. Okay. So well, that's great. Ah. Pepega. They are Pepega.
Literally, if I use the Timber Maw, it'll put the Skeleton Summon on a 30-second cooldown, because that's how long the Timber Maw lasts. If I summon the Skeleton, it'll put the Timber Maw on a 1 minute cooldown, because that's how long the Skeleton lasts. You get the idea. Okay? The Bomb Dispenser is the only PvP...
Hold on a second. Using standard weapon progression, explain. So... Fuck. I think the play is
It's too far away.
that And then we're gonna hammer. That's a lot of damn I just did right there.
I need to get closer. That spell isn't ready yet.
Follow this road location and follow the path. Okay. Jungle stalkers. Be careful to avoid Tethys. I ain't scared of that bitch. Oh my god! Why? You guys are mean. Ugh. Couldn't get him. You guys are assholes, man. Why is there 5 of these virgin fucks all right here? All of a sudden the horde is just... Okay. Oh, fuck. Beginner friendly, AoE damage, pace, survivability. Oh, fuck. The best race for Alliance is the gnome, and it isn't close. Best race for Horde is not clear. Both Orc and Undead have CC mitigation in their racials, but they function in different ways. Herbalism. Alchemy Herbalism is a nice for 3 reasons. Firstly, you get nice uptime with health, regen, pots, armor pots, max HP, access to one of the best items in hardcore, the nifty stopwatch. Solves Warlock's only weakness, mobility. For God-forsaken reason, you pull a guard. It's the only way you're living. Third, aside from 1 or 2 recipes, alchemy only requires mats from herbalism, meaning the downtime from keeping it leveled is negligible. Is the other main option for warlocks? Yes. Isolation work on the left to catch up to the right. The other main option for Warlocks, and especially potent.
Hi, what's up, G?
What's up? For more experience and or crazy Warlocks, trailing is the third option. In my personal opinion, the previous mentioned professions will increase your odds of hitting 60 more than immediately. Nice Shadow Weave set will. Also, it competes with First Aid for materials, which is incredibly important to keep level. I was either running Deep Affliction or doing with a healer, then I might consider it. Unfortunately, you cannot run either alchemy or engineering without the respective gathering profession, and so there strictly isn't any room for tailoring. Some people will tell you to level enchanting early on, magic wands. This is pretty much a waste of time, and those wands get replaced by questing normally. The time you spend grinding mats and professions for the best spent gathering another 5 to 6 levels. That being said, do what you enjoy. This is what we're here to begin with. Starts here. Stam, intellect, spirit, chili, strength. What? Okay. Interesting. Okay, BM Hunter. Beginner friendly. AoE damage. Pace. Single target damage. Survivability, dungeon utility. My entire left side had to catch up to my right, even connection wise. Could always connect way better with right side. That's how I feel. From playing baseball my entire life, being right-handed. Just takes time. If you want to add a couple extra reps each set to left only, like do your set, pause on left, give yourself 30 seconds, do another 5. Gotcha. I love this website. This website's dope. I wonder if they have Best hardcore duo partners. Duo synergy. Druid Warlock is S tier. Hunter Druid is S tier. Hunter is S tier. Hunter Shaman is S tier. Hunter Warlock. Shaman Druid Rogue Warrior Mage Paladin Priest. Paladin Rogue? Paladin Warlock, yeah. Hunters are great with druids primarily for the synergy with their movement speed bonuses. Both classes get access to 30% movement speed in the 20s, which means they'll never be cut out of sync. Both hunters and druids are excellent leveling classes. And the hybrid nature of druid helps shore up the more singular nature of the hunter. This is a S tier. This duo is S tier not only for their smoothness in open world, but because finding a dungeon group with a hybrid class is trivial. The only pain point is that both classes want leather items, but this is elevated by being able to take leather working and giving strength stamp healing gear to the druid. Also, hunters can wear mail at 40. Recommended specs: feral, marksmanship. Recommended professions: leatherworking, skinning, engineering, mining. While the warlock doesn't do a whole lot for druids, the duo is S tier because the druid absolutely juices the hell out of the warlock. Warlocks have access to with access to healing cleave through zones with no downtime, can take on almost any quest. With the druid doing restorative spec, this duo can do all leveling content. Unfortunately, warlocks cannot match the movement speed of the druid. This is more than made up by the absurd damage and tankiness of the warlock. Dungeon groups are easy to find, and nevertheless class shares gear. Warlocks get a free mount at 40. You only need enough gold for the druid. Restoration, affliction, alchemy, herbalism for the druid, engineering, mining for the warlock. Druid shaman. Best druid duo partners. Oh, I see. Hunter druid, sea druid section. Hunter. Hunters are excellent on their own, and they are even better as a team. They share movement speed bonuses, have very tanky pets. BMBM. Shamans are hybrid class who shares movement speed as a hunter. While they lack the bit of utility techniques compared to the druid, nonetheless, they're excellent pairing with hunters. Dungeons are easy to find. Keep elemental. The main issue, the duo of the shaman will have difficulty tanking. The main issue with the duo is that the shaman will have difficulty tanking big pulls when things go south. When played carefully, the duo crushes all content. Do what feels the best, keeps you healthy, and is yielding the best results. Well, one of my personal goals that I've always wanted to do is be able to do at least 12 perfect pull-ups with no assistance. And between my shoulder and now my lagging bicep on the left side, it seems to be impossible at the moment. Alright, sorry, I'm fucking reading shit. Paladin. Paladin Rogue? Unstoppable killing machines. Both classes both incredibly strong. Imagine a rogue with their sneaky tools getting out of bed situation. Now imagine that when they have a good Giga Chat Paladin juicing to them. Dungeons, trivial fun. Deep Disc, Holy, Deep Affliction plus Demo. So I'm trying Calamity's build. And I mean, I made a modification. I put eye for an eye in here. So we're not going to be able to go down in this tree, but we're trying Readout. So far I don't need it. But am I really almost out of food? I'm so glad I upgraded my bags though. Almost out of food and water. Bro, that was so troll that I ran into all those fucking... all that horde. A group of 5 of them. And they're all laughing at me as they kill me. Fucking assholes. Like, what the fuck? Best profession for safety. You have no way to safely split pull without grenades. Grenades can act as an extra interrupt. Additionally, bubble already lasts nearly as long as leash timers. If somehow you need extra time, target dummy gives you easy. Swiftness pots, however, even with swiftness pots, recipe, it is too much. You'll never be in a situation where you need to put that much of it out compared to dummy, grenade, stun, bubble. Alchemy is best profession for challenge runs due to the extra stats. No professions at all is the best for speed leveling. Getting engineering to 85 for dummies, then ignoring it is a viable middle ground. True. I need to be working on that actually. That's what I should have done on this guy, but it's not hardcore technically. Technically speaking. Oh boy, can't wait to run into some horde. Cause you know what's gonna happen.
I'm out of range.
Big damn. Oh, that was laggy as shit. The fuck was that?
I need to get closer.
damn.
It's too far away.
That's a dead warlock I've ever seen one. Oh man, he getting chased around. Oh my god, he gonna die. He gonna die. Woo. Oh man, was that a dick move or what?
I'm out. It's too far away. I need to get closer.
My god. Can you crit like that all the time, please? That'd be great. Jesus.
I'm out of range. It's too far away. I'm out of range.
entire game that does not share a cooldown with any other burst trinket in the game, which means it's the only trinket, the only burst trinket in the game where you can double burst on somebody is a damn Goblin Bomb Dispenser. There are other weird aspects about Goblin Bomb Dispenser. You can summon the thing, swap out the trinket, mount up, and the mob will follow you fast as hell on the mount, and it'll only activate on against the nearest target when it has like a 10-yard range or something like that. I'll pause the video and I'll try to pull up Classic World of Warcraft and show this to be 100% definitively the case. Just give me a sec here. Because knowing Bomb Dispenser is absolutely critical to knowing anything about a unrestricted dueling tournament and a mock Barrage tournament, because there's going to be very limited kill windows in the tournament. You're going to have to muster as much DPS as you possibly can in order to kill somebody, and part of that equation is virtually without exception going to be a Goblin Bomb Dispenser. The problem that we're about to get into, so don't bury the lead here, is you'll notice Goblin Bomb Dispenser does fire damage. And you'll start looking at your other burst options in the game where you're like, okay, Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus Goblin Mortar plus either a Thorium Grenade or a Goblin Sapper Charge. That's probably your best burst option, is Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus a Goblin Sapper Charge plus a Goblin Mortar. You stun them with the Goblin Mortar and you nuke them with a combination of Bomb Dispenser and Sapper Charge. The problem here is that all of that is fire damage, which is why I had greater fire protection potion pulled up already. Gives you about 2,600 fire damage resistance, lasts 1 hour, and it has a 2-minute cooldown. People are going to start duels with greater fire protection potion on them. And with the exception of forcing them to use a mana potion or forcing them to use a healing potion, you better believe, as long as fire protection potion is still active on the target, they're basically immune to being bursted out of existence, as long as they're playing correctly. Why? Because being bursted out of existence is going to always involve lots of fire damage. Why? Because you're either using a Goblin Sapper Charge or Goblin Mortar or Thorium Grenade. You get the point. Every character in the game, when they go to try to kill somebody, is going to be doing sizable portions of fire damage. Fire protection potions tell you pretty much to go F yourself. So if you're thinking about a character who doesn't come baseline with some fire damage, which is literally every class in the game with the exception of Shaman, Mage, I think that's about it. There's a fire trap that I'm not going to do, but that's it, right? Those are the only two classes that come baseline with some fire damage. You're going to have to spend grenades and shit to get rid of this stupid fire protection potion. I also don't know if you can be stunned while a fire protection potion is on you. I'll have to check that out, but it'd be pretty bad. So anyways, I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to try to get on Classic WoW, even though they're doing maintenance, and I'll actually show you exactly how a Goblin Bomb Dispenser operates.
I'm out of range.
Evo Aura?
It's too far away.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
I'm out of range.
How am I supposed to fight this shit?
I need to get closer. I can't do that.
Seriously? Still recording. we should.
It's too far away.
Pretty. All right. So I told him to stand there and look pretty for now. Not to do anything else, basically. So if I don't actually show you guys how this crap works, you actually have to leave me, which is kind of annoying. It is what it is, right? Okay, so currently I have Goblin Bomb Dispenser on, and I'm going to try to use Goblin Mortar. I'm going to try to switch it out with another burst trinket like 16 and back. I'm going to show you guys the burst mechanic works. Okay, so I'm going to summon Goblin Bomb Dispenser. Okay, cool. I'm going to swap the 16 bag. I am going to mount. I'm actually going to wait out, because this thing lasts a damn minute. I'm actually going to wait out the 30 seconds of this. And I'm going to try to burst on him. As soon as I get within about 10 yards of him or so, the Goblin Bomb Dispenser will activate. You can see it's fast as fuck boy when I'm on my mount, which is good. But we're about to go here, and we'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to run up. I'm going to Goblin Mortar him. And you can see the 6 demon bag was instantly put on GCD even with the Goblin Mortar. My point is that that's the you can use it the way I used it, but that's the only trinket in the game that doesn't actually share a GCD with anything else. I'm trying to find my Zandalari Hero Charm here. Where the hell is it at? I don't have the Zandalari Hero Charm around here somewhere. Seriously? Jesus. Alright, Zandalari Hero Charm. As soon as I 6 demon bag, I can't send a large hero charm to 6 demon bag. Anyways, Goblin Bomb Dispenser, only trinket in the game, does not actually share a GCD with any other trinket in the game. When you saw me summon it, you'll notice my Goblin Bomb Dispenser did not go on cooldown at all.
It's too far away.
Give it a sec, and I'll switch over to my mage, and we'll show the fire protection potion stuff. Alright, so if I 6 demon bag this guy, if you don't know, 6 demon bag has 100% spell power ratio. So if I 6 demon bag our boy here, boom. You can see it puts the Zandalari Hero Charm on cooldown. If I do it the other way around, it also puts it on cooldown. So for example, if I scroll a Blinding Light over here, these two things are going to share a GCD. I just can't use them back to back. Goblin Bomb Dispenser is the only damn thing that does not actually share a GCD with one another. Alright, actually I want to concede this duel, but since I can't actually type concede, and I don't want to type anything in case it pauses the video and screws up the video, I'm going to wait for a sec.
Dude, what?
Trade the Greater Fire Protection Potion. Like I spent 15 gold to buy, so I can test to see if there's works on it, if can, what's the thing called, bandage while doing it. That sort of stuff. Alright, let's see. Trade. Give him that. Alright. Make sure we're still recording. Okay, cool. Gotta wait for him to use it. He chugged it down. Alright, we're gonna duel real fast. We'll see if Nade Stun affects him at all. Alright, so it'll say Absorb, but the Nade Stun actually worked, which is good. Oh, and then we get the Absorb. Okay, cool. Alright, so the next thing to test is log out, logging, getting mage, testing if you can bandage. We're still recording.
I need to get closer.
Alright, so Minnow's on the same page here. Boom. Alright, we want the
I don't have a
majors.
target. I need a target.
We want to duel. And I don't want to hit him with anything too terribly scary when it comes to fire, so we're just going to do a rank 1 fire. Alright, rank 1. Yeah, non-existent. I guess I just start casting. And if you want some damage, we'll see.
Alright, so we just need water on this guy.
Alright, good, we got this. Does it interrupt? Okay, yeah. Okay. Still recording? Cool. Thank God. Alright, so that settles that. Enough said. We've seen enough.
It's too far away. Not ready yet.
Try again. What are you typing? Okay, my keyboard is fucked in. No shit. Sun drop juice. It's funny. I think he wants to try it again, so we'll try it again. Alright, we'll try it again if you want, but I mean.
The fuck?
Pew. Okay, yeah, it breaks. Alright, confirmed. Alright, we're done here. That's all I wanted to know. Because it says absorbed, so, you know, in theory, maybe it doesn't break, right? So it lies about it being absorbed. But if it was a bubble shield, then he would be able to bandage easily. Alright, cool, we're done here. Thank God. I can leave, get off, actually do a recording now, go back to Wowhead. Okay, so, our conclusions here. If you're trying to actually kill somebody in an unrestricted duel, you have to get through their greater fire protection potion. Because every class in the entire game's actual kill you now burst involves a considerable amount of fire damage. What does this tell us? However, if you actually watch my fire resist video, or my resistance video in general, you'll know that in Classic World of Warcraft, once you get above 100 fire resist, there is no 0% fire resist anymore. In fact, it's like 100, 120% fire resist in Classic WoW. There's no 0% resist anymore. Which means that every single fire spell that is going to hit you ever...
Seal Command hits so hard right there.
Every single fire spell that's going to hit you ever is...
How much does it increase the damage by?
It's going to have a 20% damage.
Holy damage taken by up to 110. Your melee strikes will refresh.
The vast majority
so
of
it
PvPers
stacks
in Classic World of Warcraft,
command damage.
when I watch these dueling tournaments, when I watch these streamers, when I watch people who are dueling but they're not top of the food chain PvPers, what I see them doing is that they whittle their enemy down to a point where they know they can burst on them, and then they burst on them. And the mistake that the other player is making, assuming they can heal, is they're letting their HP drop low enough that the enemy can even burst on them. But in an unrestricted Makarad tournament, the only real way to burst on somebody is going to be if you have them stunned, so they can't do anything, if they've let their HP drop to the point where they can even potentially be killed. And the reason for this is because if they're allowed to take any action whatsoever, that action is going to be a Whipperoo Tuber for like an 800 heal, or it's going to be a healing potion for like a 1350 or something. God knows how much healing is involved with that. Good luck manning people out. It's just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. So, the TLDR here is that in an unrestricted duel, in this tournament that they're proposing, you're going to find it virtually impossible to kill people as long as the people in question know what the hell they're doing. I'm making this video to make sure that anybody watching it is going to be one of the people who actually knows what the hell they're doing. Okay? If you don't know what the hell you're doing, yeah, you're going to die because you don't know you can make yourself theoretically unkillable. So, for example, there are no paladins in this tournament. But if I was a paladin, I sit in fire resist aura, plus 60 fire resistance. I get the head enchant and the leg enchant for fire resistance from Blackrock Depths, really easy to get. It might not be super easy to get on hardcore, or on hardcore just because of the lockout thing, think about it. But you have a really good chance of getting it since you can do a run every day. It shouldn't be that hard to get to it. You just need a crew, which is a bit of a problem. But fire resist, blah, 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 blah. Right, so you get those two enchants. You're already at 100 fire resist. it's very easy to get even more fire resist. Why am I stacking fire resist? Well, because if you're going to get bursted out of existence in a Makara, it's going to involve a lot of fire damage. We already talked about this. It's going to involve thorium grenades or sapin charges or goblin mortars or goblin bomb dispensers, because goblin bomb dispenser that's the only way to get burst damage in the game. Every bursting class in the entire game uses a lot of fire damage. The three highest bursting damage classes in the game use a shit ton of fire damage. Elemental Shaman's burst has fire damage in its rotation, in its burst combo. It has a lot of fire damage on top of the fact that it wants to grenade stun you or stun you or goblin bomb dispenser you, so forth and so on. Mages, no matter what kind of mage they are, they've got a lot of fire resist, fire damage in their burst. And they also want to, grenade goblin mortar you and bomb dispenser on you and all that stuff. Then there's Destra Warlock. Need I say more? They're literally launching fire spells at you. And if you know anything about fire resist in Classic World of Warcraft, you know that once you get it over 100 fire resist or 120 fire resist, somewhere around there, 0% fire resist goes off. Which means every time someone's trying to burst you, you're going to have something stupid like 25%. You're going to have significantly more than you think they would have. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're actually trying to burst somebody out of existence in Classic World of Warcraft, at a minimum, for any class in the entire game, for a fucking rogue, they're going to be throwing about 1,500 fire damage at you, whether you like it or not. Okay? 1,500 fire damage incoming is going to be part of that burst for every single class in the entire game, including Paladin. Which means that something as simple as a fire protection potion might as well read that it's giving you something stupid like plus 1,500 more HP for when the enemy actually tries to burst you out of existence. And it lasts for a fucking hour. Okay? This thing is incredibly powerful burst protection for you in Classic World of Warcraft, and it's not like you can't stack these damn things. Right? Because behind this greater fire protection potion is also a major protection potion. Or behind it is a frost protection potion or a nature protection potion. You get where the hell we're going with this. Right? You follow me on this? Okay, cool. What else is there to talk about here? Alright, so let's talk about how to actually win a Makara based upon, you can tell it's like 4 a.m. here, so I'm trying to talk a little low. Wife is sleeping. Let's talk about how to actually win a Makara tournament, assuming you're going to be a smart boy and everybody else is going to be stupid and unable to find their greater fire protection potions, or are unable to recognize the value of fire resistance gear on your character, as opposed to, say, HP, which might be harder to get. Okay? Okay, cool. Also, you could throw in here the magic protection potions, which give you 50 all resist for 3 minutes on a 2-minute cooldown. Again, we've talked about the value of fire resistance, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so the first thing to realize is that the first thing you want to do with your class is make yourself unkillable.
Okay, I disagree with Calamity. I feel like
make this video a 2-part video. Yeah.
This is fine, but I feel like I need
I'm gonna make this part a 2-part video, and I'm just gonna have this part be part 1.
Wisdom.
And this is gonna be titled "My Problem with Unrestricted Dueling," aka Makara tournaments. And then in the second part, I'm actually gonna talk about how you go about actually winning these tournaments based upon their literally full sense rules they have in this tournament. But it's a Makara, and Makaras are unrestricted dueling, and you asked for it in Classic WoW, so here it is. Anyways, I'm going to be here in Deus Vult Boys.
What's up YouTube, Mr. Limacy here, and today I'm going to show you the remodded Diablo 2 Resurrected mod.
Level 60s that are basically auction house antes and a few dungeon runs here. Good luck finding the window to kill each other. So, the best window to possibly kill somebody under just about any of these circumstances is specifically a goblin bomb dispenser. One sec, I really want to pull that up real fast. Let's go goblin, bomb, take long. Dispenser. Okay, it's a goblin bomb dispenser. It says 30-minute cooldown, right? Creates a mobile bomb that charges the nearest enemy and explodes for about 350 fire damage on a 30-minute cooldown. Why is this the king of any burst that you can possibly do in the game? It has to do with the fact that if I pull it up and I come down here and I see, let's see, blah, 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 you'll notice that there's no shared cooldowns. So the thing about Goblin Bomb Dispenser is that it's the only burst trinket in the entire game that I've ever found, and I've tested all of them, that does not actually share a cooldown with any other trinket in the entire game. Any other burst trinket in the entire game. All the other burst trinkets
Good way to fucking level up my shit.
share a cooldown with each other. So you can't just like double burst trinket on people. So for example, I can't Sandalari Hero Charm and 6 Demon Bag somebody because they share a cooldown. I can't skeleton summon on somebody and use a Timber Maw trinket at the same time for a double summon because they share a cooldown. It'll literally, if I use the Timber Maw, it'll put the skeleton summon on a 30-second cooldown because that's how long the Timber Maw lasts. If I summon the skeleton, it'll put the Timber Maw on a 1 minute cooldown because that's how long the skeleton lasts. Okay? The Bomb Dispenser is the only PvP trinket in the entire game that does not share a cooldown with any other burst trinket in the game, which means it's the only trinket, the only burst trinket in the game where you can double burst on somebody is a damn Goblin Bomb Dispenser. There are other weird aspects about Goblin Bomb Dispenser. You can summon the thing, swap out the trinket, mount up, and the mob will follow you fast as hell on the mount, and it will only activate on against the nearest target when it has like a 10-yard range or something like that. I'll pause the video and I'll try to pull up Classic World of Warcraft and show this to be 100% definitively the case. Just give me a sec here. Because knowing Bomb Dispenser is absolutely critical to knowing anything about a unrestricted dueling tournament and a mock Garage tournament, because there's going to be very limited kill windows in the tournament. You're going to have to muster as much DPS as you possibly can in order to kill somebody, and part of that equation is virtually without exception going to be a Goblin Bomb. The problem that we're about to get into, I'll carry the lead here, is you'll notice Goblin Bomb Dispenser does fire damage. And you'll start looking at your other burst options in the game. You're like, okay, Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus Goblin Mortar plus either a Thorium Grenade or a Goblin Sapper Charge. That's probably your best burst option, is Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus a Goblin Sapper Charge plus a Goblin Mortar. You stun them with the Goblin Mortar and you nuke them with a combination of Bomb Dispenser and Sapper Charge. The problem here is that all of that is fire damage, which is why I had greater fire protection pulled up already. Gives you about 2,600 fire damage resistance, lasts 1 hour, and it has a 1-minute cooldown. People are going to start duels with greater fire protection potion on them, and with the exception of forcing them to use a mana potion or forcing them to use a healing potion, you better believe, as long as fire protection potion is still active on the target, they're basically immune to being bursted out of existence. As long as they're playing correctly. Why? Because being bursted out of existence is going to always involve lots of fire damage. Why? Because you're either using a Goblin Sapper Charge or Goblin Mortar or...
All right, I get it.
You get the point. Every character in the game...
I gotta go level it up somewhere else. We need to go do that, actually.
Doing sizable points, portion
Actually, as soon as we're done with this quest, we need to go do that.
And fire protection potions tell you pretty much to go F yourself. So if you're thinking about a character who doesn't come baseline with some fire damage, which is literally every class in the game with the exception of Shaman, Mage, I think that's about it. There's a fire trap that a hunter can do, but that's it, right? There's only 2 classes that come baseline with some fire damage. You're gonna have to spend grenades and shit to get rid of this stupid fire protection potion. I also don't know if you can be stunned while a fire protection potion is on you. I'll have to check that out, but it'd be pretty bad. So anyways, I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to try to get on Classic WoW, even though they're doing maintenance, and I'll actually show you
It's too far away.
how a Goblin Bomb Dispenser operates.
I can't do that yet. I don't have a target.
Seriously? Still recording.
Dude, come on, man.
Alright, cool. We should be recording. Stand there and look pretty. Alright. So I told him to stand there and look pretty for now. Not to do anything else, basically. So if I don't actually show you guys how this crap works, you actually won't believe me. Which is really annoying. That's what it is, right? Okay, so currently I have Goblin Bomb Dispenser on, and I'm going to try to use Goblin Mortar.
It's too
I'm going to
far
try to
away.
switch it out with another Burst Trinket like 60. So I'm going to show you guys the burst potential and how these mechanics work. Okay, so I'm going to summon Goblin Bomb Dispenser. Okay, cool. I'm going to swap the 60-man bag. I am going to mount. And I'm actually going to wait out, because this thing lasts a damn minute. I'm actually
Bro,
going to
what?
wait out
Come on.
the 30 seconds for this.
Fucking hate this
And I'm gonna try
quest.
to burst on him. As soon as I get within about 10 yards of him or so, the Goblin Bomb Dispenser will activate. You can see it's fast as fuck boy when I'm on my mount, which is good. So we're gonna go here, and we'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to run up, Goblin Mortar him, and you can see the 60-man bag was instantly put on GCD even with the Goblin Mortar. My point is that that's the you can use it the way I used it, but that's the only trinket in the game that doesn't actually share a GCD with it with anything else.
It's too
Getting fucking irritated.
Where's it at? I should have the Zandalari Hero Charm here somewhere. Seriously? There it is. Jeez. Alright, Zandalari Hero Charm. As soon as I 6-demon bag, I can't Zandalari Hero Charm a 6-demon bag. Anyways, Goblin Bomb Dispenser, only trinket in the game, does not actually share a GCD with any other trinket in the game. When you saw me summon it, you'll notice my Goblin Bomb
Good
Dispenser
God.
did not go on cooldown at all. Give it a sec. I'll switch over to my mage, and we'll show the fire protection potion stuff. Alright, so if I 6-demon bag this guy, if you don't know, 6-demon bag has 100% spell power ratio. So if I 6-demon bag our boy here, without like target, alright, boom. You can see it puts the Zandalari Hero Charm on cooldown. If I do it the other way around, it also puts it on cooldown. So for example, if I scroll a Blinding Light over here, these two things are going to share a GCD. I just can't use them back to back. Goblin Bomb Dispenser is the only damn thing that does not actually share a GCD with one another. Alright, actually I want to concede this duel, but since I can't actually type concede, and I don't want to type anything in case it pauses the video and screws up the video, I'm going to run away for a sec, because I want to be able to trade the Greater Fire Protection Potion that I just spent 15 gold to buy, so I can test to see if Grenade works on it, if you can, what's the thing called, bandage while doing it. That sort of stuff. Alright, let's see. Trade. I'll give him that. Alright. Make sure we're still recording. Okay, cool. Gotta wait for him to use it. He chugged it down. Alright, we're gonna duel real fast. We'll see if Nade Stun affects him at all. Alright, so it'll say Absorb, but the Nade Stun actually worked, which is good. Oh, and then we get the Absorb. Okay, cool. Alright, so the next thing to test is log out, logging, getting mage, testing if you can bandage. We're still recording, thank God. Alright, so Minnow's on the same page here. Boom. Alright, we want the majors. We want to duel.
1, 2.
And I don't want to hit him with anything too terribly
1, 2,
scary
3.
when it comes to fire, so we're just going to do a rank 1 fireball.
1, 2.
Rank 1, yeah, non-existent.
1, 2. One.
I guess I just start casting. And if he wants to bandage, we'll see.
One. 1, 2, 3. One, two.
Fuck. Alright, good. We got this.
1, 2.
Does it interrupt? Okay, yeah. Okay. Still recording? Cool. Thank God. Alright, so that settles that. Enough said. We've seen enough. Do you want to try again? Alright, whatever. What are you typing? Okay, my keyboard is fucked. Yeah, no shit. Sun drop juice.
Damage.
It's funny. I think he wants to try it again, so we'll try it again. Alright, we'll try it again if you want, but I mean... Pew. Okay, yeah, it breaks. Alright, confirmed. Alright, we're done here. That's all I wanted to know. Because it says absorbed, so, you know, in theory, maybe it doesn't break, right? So it lies about it being absorbed. But if it was a bubble shield, then you would be able to bandage easily. Alright, cool, we're done here. Thank God. I can leave, get off, actually do a recording now, go back to Wowhead. Okay, so, our conclusions here. If you're trying to actually kill somebody in an unrestricted duel, you have to get through their greater fire protection potion. Because every class in the entire game's actual "I'm going to kill you now" burst involves a considerable amount of fire damage. What does this tell us? However, if you actually watch my fire resist video, or my resistance video in general, you'll know that in Classic World of Warcraft, once you get above 100 fire resist, there is no 0% fire resist anymore, practically. It's like 100, 120% fire resist in Classic WoW. There's no 0% resist anymore. Which means that every single fire spell that is going to hit you ever, I can probably look it up if I want, every single fire spell that's going to hit you ever is...
Greedy. Best deals in all of Stormwind, my friend. Won't find
it's going to have a 20% damage reduction to it. What I'm basically trying to say here is that the vast majority of PvPers in Classic World of Warcraft, when I watch these dueling tournaments, when I watch these streamers, when I watch people who are dueling but they are not top of the food chain PvPers, what I see them doing is that they whittle the enemy down to a point where they know they can burst on them, and then they burst on them. And the mistake that the other player is making, assuming they can heal, is they're letting their HP drop low enough that the enemy can even burst on them. But in an unrestricted Makarat tournament, the only real way to burst on somebody is going to be if you have them stunned, so they can't do anything, if they've let their HP drop to the point where they can even potentially be killed. And the reason for this is because if they're allowed to take any action whatsoever, that action is going to be a Whipper-Root Tuber for like an 800 heal, or it's going to be a major healing potion for like a 1350 or somewhere, or God knows how much healing is involved with that. Good luck manaing people out. It's just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. So anyways, the TLDR here is that in an unrestricted duel, in this tournament that they're proposing, you're going to find it virtually impossible to kill people as long as the people in question know what the hell they're doing. I'm making this video to make sure that anybody watching it is going to be one of the people who actually knows what the hell they're doing. Okay? If you don't know what the hell you're doing, yeah, you're going to die because you don't know that you could make yourself theoretically unkillable. So, for example, there are no paladins in this tournament, but if I was a paladin, I sit in fire resist aura, plus 60 fire resistance. I get the head enchant And the leg enchant for fire resistance from Blackrock Depths, really easy to get. It might not be super easy to get on hardcore or on hardcore just because of the lockout thing. Now that I think about it, but you have a really good chance of getting it since you could do a run every day. It shouldn't be that hard to get 2 of them. You just need a crew, which is a bit of a problem. But fire resist, blah 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 blah. Right, so you get those 2 enchants. You're already at 100 fire resist. It's very easy to get even more fire resist. Why am I stacking fire resist? Well, because if you're going to get bursted out of existence in a Makara, it's going to involve a lot of fire damage. We already talked about this. It's going to involve thorium grenades or sapin charges or goblin mortars or goblin bomb dispensers, because goblin bomb dispenser that's the only way to get burst damage in the game. Every bursting class in the entire game uses a lot of fire damage. The 3 highest bursting damage classes in the game use a shit ton of fire damage. Elemental Shaman's burst has fire damage in its rotation. In its burst combo, it has a lot of fire damage, on top of the fact that it wants to grenade stun you or mortar stun you or goblin bomb dispenser you, so forth and so on. Mages, no matter what kind of mage they are, they've got a lot of fire damage in their burst, and they also want to grenade you and goblin mortar you and bomb dispenser on you and all that stuff. Then there's Destra Warlock. Need I say more? They're literally launching fire spells at you.
Yeah, but no one's going to be playing Destra. They're going to be playing Soul Link.
You get it over 100 fire resist or 120 fire resist, somewhere around
so you
there.
just
0%
put on
fire
Shadow
resist
Resist
off,
here, I
which
guess,
you
but...
take, which means every time someone's trying to burst you, you're going to have something stupid like 25%. You're going to have significantly more HP than you think they would have. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're actually trying to burst somebody out of existence in classic World of Warcraft, at a minimum, for any class in the entire game, for a fucking rogue, they're going to be throwing about 1,500 fire damage at you. Okay? 1,500 fire damage incoming is going to be part of that burst for every single class in the entire game, including Paladin. Which means that something as simple as a fire protection potion might as well read that it's giving you something stupid like plus 1,500 more HP for when the enemy actually tries to burst you out of existence. And it lasts for a fucking hour. Okay? This thing is incredibly powerful burst protection for you in classic World of Warcraft, and it's not like you can't stack these damn things. Right? Because behind this greater fire protection potion is also a major protection potion. Or behind it is a frost protection potion or a nature protection potion. You get where the hell we're going with this. Right? You follow me on this? Okay, cool. What else is there to talk about here? Alright, so let's talk about how to actually win a Makara based upon... You can tell it's like 4 a.m. here, so I'm trying to talk a little low. Wife is sleeping. Let's talk about how to actually win a Makara tournament, assuming you're going to be a smart boy and everybody else is going to be stupid and unable to find their greater fire protection potions, or are unable to recognize the value of fire resistance gear on your character, as opposed to, say, HP, which might be harder to get. Okay? Okay, cool. Also, you could throw in here the magic protection potions, which give you 50 all resist for 3 minutes on a 2-minute cooldown. Again, we've talked about the value of fire resistance, you know, blah, 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 blah. Alright, so the first thing to realize is that by far, the first thing you want to do with your class is make yourself unkillable. Maybe I should make this video a 2-part video. Yeah, because I'm going to be talking a lot here. Okay, I'm going to make this part a 2-part video, and I'm just going to have this part be part 1. And this is going to be titled My Problem with Unrestricted Dueling, aka Makara Tournaments. And then in the second part, I'm actually going to talk about... Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've talked about the issues, mainly pertaining to unrestricted dueling and the Makara, let's talk about actually how to play a Makara. Alright,
I kind of want to pay attention to that, but Before we do that, would it be a consumable? Can I buy? Trade goods container. It's not a container. It's not a weapon. It's not a consumable. Shield spike? Iron shield spike. Teaches how to make an iron shield spike. Attaches an iron spike to your shield that deals damage every time you block with it. Requires blacksmithing. I don't need the plans. Can I just buy the item? And if so... Mithril shield spike. Thorium shield spike. It requires blacksmithing. Attaches it. No fucking way. Fiery? Fire? What about, is it fiery? No. Fire? Fire protection potion. They don't have a thing on here for... Oh, man, dude. Don't care about that. Increase your melee attack power by 35 in size for 20 minutes? What? How do you get this thing? Winter, fall, fire, water? Oh. Enchant weapon, minor beast slayer. Requires enchanting. It's the formula. Enchant tune a weapon, lesser intellect. Oh. Steel weapon chain? Making it impossible to disarm? Oh, that's fucking... Okay. That sounds broken for PvP. Here we go. Enchant weapon, fiery weapon. Holy fuck. Teaches you how to permanently enchant a weapon to regularly blast a target with fire. What is the mats for that? Blackrock Depths, Pyromancer. Oh my god. Vanilla, WoW, Best Ret Paladin, enchantments. Lesser agility, greater stats, superior strength. Crusader. To a leg or head slot item. Chops. Jeez. Dude, the amount it consumes, man. Holy fuck, that's overwhelming. Weapon enchant that is used all throughout WoW Classic, even beyond some aspects. The 100 strength bonus for 15 seconds is a massive proc, making this the only option. Weapon enchant. This can be quite expensive, however, so make sure to save up gold early on, which is good. Crusader. Fiery weapon. Oh. That is fucking ridiculous. Chant weapon, fiery weapon. Need to make a macro for this. F-I-E-R-Y? F-I-E-R-Y. Small radiant shard. Essence of fire. Small radiant shards. 4? Oh my god. So I need 4 small radiant shards and 1 essence of fire. Jesus Christ. Fucking expensive, man.
Hooray!
Gotcha. I just spent a lot of gold. Fiery weapon. I don't know how much this is gonna help me.
Kings, these great beasts know paths that you can't find on foot. They'll get you
All right,
there
I'm getting
fast
fucking
and maybe
hungry.
show you something new at the same time.
Cold. All right, testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Alright.
If for some reason we were
Back.
so inclined to do so, knowing all the issues that exist with it. Or if you just want to be like a Makara master, an unrestricted dueling master, you know, blah, 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 blah. If you wonder how the hell I know these things in classic World of Warcraft, me and Drakova used to do a lot of theory crafting on, not just theory crafting, but playtesting on unrestricted dueling. Drakova is famous for like wearing like 300 resist suits and going up against classes and making them want to start the game. Unrestricted dueling in classic World of Warcraft is what life looks like in PvP outside of a dueling environment. We often say as PvPers that dueling outside, not dueling, PvP outside of duels is a completely different animal than PvP inside of duels. And if you play enough World of Warcraft on a PvP server, you'll definitely know that to be true. You got, you know, lips and living action potions and free action potions and swiftness potions and people coming at you pre-charged wreck bombs, gear swapping all over the place and full resistance suits and all that stuff, right? Like, there's a guy in Era who... There's a druid in Era that really hates this one mage. And what he does is he actually has a horde character he gets on. He slash hooves for the location of this mage. And then this druid goes out wearing resist gear specifically designed to kill this mage and just makes this mage's life a living hell wherever the hell he goes. It's actually hilarious because I will literally contact that druid and get him to come out here and get this damn mage off of me if that mage is pissing me off a little bit too much. Absolutely hilarious, unrestricted PvP in World of Warcraft is an animal in itself. Alright, so let's start with an actual Makara guide, an unrestricted dueling guide. The first step here is to be unkillable. Why? Because you can be unkillable. It's unrestricted dueling. The whole reason why we have rules in dueling tournaments is because if we don't, very, very rapidly we can make ourselves unkillable in World of Warcraft. Everybody knows this. You can wear full resistance suit, you can be armored out the ass, you can use this potion, this thing, that thing. All the craziness in the world starts to come at your disposal. People are hard enough to kill even under dual conditions when we don't let them do that. And you can't use all that stuff. Again, see part 1, right? But if you let them do this stuff, Jesus. Anyway, so step 1 is be unkillable. It's to also know that this is technically a gear and a consumable check. So the first rule of business in a Makara is to make sure that you are passing this gear check, and then you can go see if your opponent has messed up the gear check or not. Like, oh, are you killable? Because I'm gearing to be unkillable. Because you can do that in Classic WoW. Again, watch the first video. You'll take note that every single the only way to kill somebody in Makara is to either grind them down. If you look at step 3, it's to either grind them down or burst them. So step 3 here is know your win condition, burst or grind. So some classes have a grinding win condition, which will wear you down over time. And then other classes, they can't wear down the enemy over time, so they have to burst them out of existence. Right? Know your win condition. More importantly, what am I trying to say here? Right, the burst. Grind can look various different ways, but the burst is always going to involve lots and lots of fire damage. That's going to be goblins. Literally, it's going to be a goblin mortar into goblin mortar, goblin bomb dispenser, and goblin sapper charge, all just lit up on you. Why is goblin bomb dispenser there? Well, if you watch part 1, you'll know that goblin bomb dispenser is the only burst trinket in the game that you can pair with other burst trinkets in the game. Nobody else pairs up together. It's just goblin bomb dispenser and then nothing else. So if you're using any burst combo in the game, it's going to involve a goblin bomb dispenser. But again, that just means 1500 fire damage, 1500 fire damage, 1500 fire damage. So it could be like, you know, thorium grenade into insert burst trinket here, plus goblin bomb dispenser. And it's going to be, you know, lots of fire damage. Then major fire protection, or greater fire protection potion just says, hello, I exist, get bent. So the TLDR is be unkillable at step 1. And then step 2 is that once resources have started wearing down, and that's resources both in mana and both in cooldowns. Once the resources of the enemy have been worn down as they try to kill you, because they usually don't realize you've geared to be unkillable, then you, at the nearest opportunity, you gear swap over to a set that is effectively your win condition, right? So as a Ret Paladin, that would mean, what does that look like as a Ret Paladin? Okay, that would mean that I would start the duel versus a mage, or I'd start the duel versus a caster in heavy resistance suits, and I would just wear them down over time. And then once I get a wreck bomb going, or so forth and so on, I would gear swap over to a more burst-oriented playstyle, and I would go for the kill in the burst, while they are low CDs, low resources, low mana, meaning the threat of them bursting me out of existence has passed, because they're low on CDs, they're low on mana.
It's too far away.
Therefore, I can now switch my build to a more customized, I'm going to either kill you over time, or I'm going to kill you in the burst. What that would look like as a more grinder build. So that would be a druid, or a shaman, or a warlock, or a caster, a build that's going to grind you down, is that you would start in stamina intellect gear, or stamina resist gear, depending upon what you're doing here. And I got it right down here, right? Step 1, you're going to be in some stamina intellect gear, or some stamina resistance gear, some variant of that. You're going to wear down the enemy, and at the nearest opportunity, you'd switch over to either a burst setup, or if it was the grinder style, it would be a stamina spirit gear setup. If you don't know how spirit gear works in World of Warcraft, basically every 8 points of spirit will give you 1 mana per second regeneration when you're not casting. Under PvP conditions, you can assume that you'll have about 50% spirit uptick time. Of course, you can play in certain manners to greatly increase or reduce that number. But what it means is that spirit gear basically starts acting like MP5 very, very, very quickly under dueling circumstances, especially if you can heal yourself. And that's how you grind people down. Basically, if you have the ability to heal yourself, you just grind people into the dirt in Makaraz. Okay, so I don't want to do that. What are the other TLDR takeaways here? Number 1, if you do not have a mana bar for whatever reason, so that would be rogues and warriors. Rogues is a little bit different because, so here I have these notes. It's like if you do not have a mana bar and you do not have the ability to heal yourself, you basically lost already. Those two things are kind of synonymous with themselves, because any class in the game that has a mana bar can effectively heal themselves, right? That's either I sheep you and I go and I eat and I drink. That's I catch you in a frost trap and then I go and I eat and I drink. That's I'm a warlock and I fear you and I go and I eat and I drink, or I start, a life draining you, blah, 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 right? Every class in the game can effectively heal themselves. Rogues can kind of, sort of get some healing in, but they're not that good at it in the grand scheme of things. Warriors have a really, really big healing issue outside of Diamond Flask usage, which is a thing to take note of. If you don't know what the hell Warrior Diamond Flask is, go look it up. Otherwise, it would take me too long to talk about it. Basically, it's like if they have a bunch of plus healing gear at the start of the duel, just know you literally can't kill them for like a minute. Just to play purely defensively for like a minute, or dispel them until their Diamond Flask wears off. Once their Diamond Flask wears off, Diamond Flask basically has a 500% spell power ratio behind it. For the duration of its life cycle. So it's like it lasts a minute and it's healing the warrior for something stupid like 12,000, 9,000 HP or something retarded like that over the course of a minute, because it has it ticks 5 times and it has like 100% spell power ratio behind each tick. So you do the math. So they put on a bunch of plus healing gear, they activate the thing, they switch into DPS gear.
Bro, I kind of fucking low-key like this shit.
12,000 HP over the course
Are you
of
a civilian?
Enjoy. Okay, Why do I say you've already lost? Because how do you kill a druid or a shaman who's going to engage in this playstyle? Or a paladin, for that matter, or a warlock, for that matter. They're going to make themselves unkillable to you, and they're literally just going to grind you down until you run out of CCs, and then they're going to kill you. So your only hope as a warrior or as a rogue is to burst them out of existence, and if they were able
Are we
to
just gonna
actually
do
find
this
their
to each
greater
other
fire
all?
protection potion, that's not really going to happen too terribly well. If they were able to find their nature protection potion on top of their greater fire protection potion, that's really not going to happen too terribly well. Like, you know, looking at you rogues, it's just a bad time. Basically, the grinder playstyle is less viable for you if you have a mana bar, so you have to go burst.
I literally can't hit this
And,
guy.
the worst part about it is you literally have to burst into their step 1. And if your burst cannot overcome their step 1, then you're basically screwed. So that's why if you don't have a mana bar, you've basically lost. If you do have a mana bar and you're able to heal yourself, you are in a prime position to win a Makara tournament. Especially if you know, if you follow these rules, basically. Step 1, be unkillable. Step 2, swap their stamina spirit gear, and then either look for a burst or to grind them out of existence. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. In this upcoming 1,100k Makara tournament, there's not going to be a lot of gearing capability, so a lot of people are going to have... they're basically going to be auction house Andes. You can easily win a Makara tournament by being an auction house Andy if you follow these rules. Just have a pure stamina intellect gear set for the auction house. Have a stamina spirit gear set to back it up to swap into, and play it out accordingly. It should just be the right class that even has a mana in the first place. So that would be druid. That would be paladin. That would be priest. That would be, I think that's it. That has the shaman. Okay, there we go. Yeah, shaman. One of those 4 classes. Warlock is technically also in here. If you don't know, when you're sitting down, your spirit gear regenerates your health much faster. It's like plus 50% regeneration time. So even a warlock running around in like pure auction house stamina spirit gear is going to be an absolute monster to try to deal with. Just because they can fear you and they can run away from you. And they don't even have to eat and drink. They don't even have to sit down. They just can keep running in a straight line. The spirit regeneration on their HP bar will be monstrous, whether you like it or not. And they can also do all their bandaging stuff. They got access to all their potions. A warlock, even if they're not allowed to eat and drink, is going to be nigh unkillable. The same thing goes for mages. You don't allow a mage to eat and drink, fine, whatever. We'll just wear stamina spirit gear, because the spirit gear will regenerate our mana like crazy. It'll keep us alive. We have a million miles we can run around, chicken with our head cut off in a Makara, and we're just going to let spirit regeneration heal us up. This is why I keep saying if you got a mana bar, you have a chance. But if you don't have a mana bar, then there's not really all that much chance here. Technically, if you were stamina spirit gear and you're a rogue, or you're stamina spirit gear and a warrior, you can do the exact same thing. You can just run around and let the spirit regeneration heal you up. Spirit regeneration is significantly increased in power on classes that do not have a mana bar. But you get the idea. The general issue with Makaras in general is, how do you kill people who don't want to die? And then if you have a dueling tournament that basically says, oh, by the way, if the first duel times out, which is 10 minutes, we go to the next duel, but you basically can't eat or drink, then spirit gear just wins the day. Like, if you know to put on spirit gear under those circumstances, or more accurately, if you know to rinse and repeat a step 1 to step 2, meaning first we were unkillable and then we go stamina spirit gear, you're just going to grind people into gold. Like, it's literally a gear check. Do you pass this gear check, yes or no? Do you know what the hell you're doing, yes or no, in the backgrounds? Alright, so the last thing to say here, and I'm going to try to keep this video short. You guys know it's going to make short videos. The last thing to say here is you only need to be out of combat for 6 seconds in order to gear swap. In order to item swap, in order to trinket swap. It's 6 seconds. This is such a low duration of time that just about any class in the game can gear swap if they want to. This is such a low duration of time that you can even gear swap on mages. Why? Because if you're running away from a mage, all they have to keep you in combat effectively is Fire Blast. And Fire Blast, even if it's spec, is like on a 7-second cooldown. So you do that. You only need to be out of combat for 6 seconds. You can any class in the game can gear swap on any other class in the game, as long as they've made themselves unkillable. The only way they can't stop you from gear swapping is if they killed you. Right? Simple. Yeah, even paladins, we use our class-only neck trinket from ZG, which increases the stun duration on our Hammer of Justice by 0.5 seconds. So our stun is no longer 6 seconds, it's now 6.5 seconds. And I've tested it with Drakova. We can do annoying things like stun a target for 6.5 seconds, do double Holy Light, and then gear swap before they can even take action, because the stun lasts longer than 6 seconds. Anyways, I'll end the video here, and Deus Volpoise, just know that that's basically your TLDR on a Makara, is step 1, be unkillable, and then once you're unkillable and resources are starting to wear down and wear thin, you gear swap over to whatever your win condition is. Be that bursting or be that grinding. Preferably, you're playing a class that can grind people into pulp. The top duelers in a Makara tournament would be Paladin. Sound insane to you, but just know that Paladins are the #1 sustaining class in the entire game. There is no class in the entire game that can stand toe-to-toe with a Paladin in a sustain type scenario. Hell, there's no class in the entire game that can stand toe-to-toe with a Paladin even in a personal context. Paladins are the kings of sustain in classic World of Warcraft. Holy crap, do they not die. The second king of sustain is probably SL Warlock. And Druid, but it's a real hard toss-up between the remaining classes. So what I'm trying to describe is that Paladin is probably the best Makara class in the entire game if played correctly, but the 4 other really good classes for Makara, for unrestricted dueling in the game, are so close to Paladin in performance that if the Paladin isn't on the top of the game of knowing what to doing, you could easily make an argument that they're all about even. So the next 4 classes are just about even to each other. They are Priest, they are Druid, they are Shaman, and then the last one is Priest, Druid, Shaman, what's the last one? And Warlock, specifically SL Warlock. Because again, you can't kill the bastards, they can grind you down over time, and a lot of them have actually burst capability, which is actually kind of terrifying. Can't catch them, can't stop them. It's super annoying. Even in spirit gear, even without eating and drinking, just putting these bastards in spirit gear and having them run around, they're going to be so fucking hard to kill. Holy shit. Anyways, here and Deus Volpoise.
That's still recharging.
Welcome in. Good old football Sunday. We get a little streaming in the morning.
I need to get closer.
For something stupid like 12 people. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this will be a third part. Stuff that. Okay, here we go. Makara dueling. We're going to do a TLDR on all the classes, their strengths, their weaknesses, what they usually try to do, how to counter them, yada yada yada. All that sort of stuff. So I'm getting reports that in the current Makara tournament that's going on, the hardcore tournament, you're not allowed to gear swap. That's going to make it really easy to decide what kind of gear you want to wear for these tournaments. The answer is going to be stamina and spirit the vast majority of the time. If you can't gear swap, they're literally telling you can't gear swap even between duels, which means the moment I hear that, you can't use resistance gearing, because resistance gearing is a specific thing. But in unrestricted dueling in general, resistance gear is a thing, so that's going to come up. But if they're telling you you can't gear gear swap for the entirety of a tournament. You just have to sit there in the same gear the entire time. Stamina, spirit gear, no joke, is going to be by far your best gearing
It's too
possible.
far away.
Alright, move on. Alright, so warrior. Strengths. They got diamond flask, and you don't know how diamond for a warmer. You don't know how diamond flask gear works. Oh man, I guess they can't use it in the tournament because there's no gear swapping, so I guess they can't use diamond flask. Diamond flask is even terrifying in a no gear swapping scenario because they'll put on a shield and a weapon with a bunch of plus healing on it, pop their diamond flask, and then swap to normal weapons and come at you. And even then, that's like something stupid like 4,000 healing over the course of 60 seconds of diamond flask. Absolutely insane. Alright, so they are super dangerous in unrestricted duels with free action potions and a few sunders on you. So for example, when they have recklessness and so forth, some of their weaknesses are they don't generate any rage when they're bubble shield, when bubble shields are active. I've never actually tested this. This is just me remembering things from like classic World of Warcraft all the way back in the day, private server and so on. Maybe I should get off my butt and test it one of these days. But to my knowledge,
It's too far away.
if you're like a priest and you put power word shield on yourself, until the warrior breaks that shield, they can't actually generate any rage. Warriors only generate rage off of their white attacks. So one of the things that we'll generally do if we have like an Arena Grandmaster trinket or something of the kind is we'll watch the warrior's rage bar. And if they're rage, but they all of a sudden they whirlwind and mortal strike you, and the rage bar drops to like 10 rage, you just pop a bubble shield one burst. That would be Arena Grandmaster trinket. That would be the Arathi Basin reward trinkets because they're like, you know, physical damage absorption shield, Burrower Shell trinket. All that stupid stuff, and the next thing you know, the warrior just doesn't get to generate any rage for like a million years. So as a warrior, you're supposed to hold your rage for when the bubbles come, and then when the bubbles come, you dump your rage to pop the bubbles as quickly as possible, and so you can let your white attacks generate rage. Alright, cool. May or may not be a thing. Haven't actually tested it. I've seen some weird stuff in dueling tournaments which makes me cock my head and go, are we sure? Like, do you actually generate rage off of bubble shields? Like, what? But I need to get to it immediately because I'm a paladin. I don't care. Warriors just laugh at them. And I put on a shield, I laugh at them, they die. Like, who cares about this? Alright. Easily snared, kited, and killed. So they have rage generation issues. They're easily snared, kited, and killed when no free action potion and armor hurts them super, super bad because of how their rage mechanic works. There's other little weaknesses to them, but we'll get into that. So here's their strengths. Strengths are in purple. So strengths are in green. Red is their weaknesses. Purple is their general, like what they're actually going to try to do to kill you. And then blue is how we counter them. That's how I basically color-coded this stuff. So they're going to come at you with like a free action potion, recklessness, and diamond flask. And they are first-based burst. What?
I can't cast that.
I don't know what I'm trying to type there, but basically they're trying to burst you out of existence, and that's pretty much their only win condition. Why is this? Well, when free action potion is on cooldown for them, they're so easily kiteable by just about any class in the game, with the sole exception of like Paladin. They're even easily kiteable by other warriors. That they basically they're absolutely terrible outside of a free action potion. They're known as one of the worst duelers in the game for this reason. But in no unrestricted dueling, like, dear God, they're actually monsters. Free action potion and recklessness are actually really hard to deal with for most classes unless you have specifically a dispel. And you're going to have so many buffs on you as a warrior in unrestricted dueling circumstances that it's not that the odds of them being able to dispel off your recklessness potion or free action potion before you get all over them is nightmare fuel. Once they're physically on top of you and they have their target slowed, they become significantly less. It's only snares that really affect them. So, for example, their weakness. You'll notice here, I said kited and killed, snared, kited, and killed. You'll notice I didn't say they're weak against slows. Warriors aren't actually weak against slows as long as they can put a slow on their enemy, right? So it's like, oh, I got my enemy slowed, I'm physically on top of them, he slows me, like a shaman, for example. A warrior can jump all over a shaman and stick to them like glue because the shaman slows them and they slow the shaman, and they're just stuck there in melee for a million years. It's only snares that warriors really hate, and that's primarily what free action potion is there, giving the middle finger to. Alright, so how do you counter them? When they're using a free action potion, they're usually, believe it or not, they actually need some other speed boost to go with that. Maybe that's what I'm trying to write here. Free action potion, diamond flask, and first base burst, whatever. They need a speed thing here for the warrior. Because if they don't rocket boot along, or nifty stopwatch along with the free action potion, it becomes very easy for their enemies to likewise free action potion, so they aren't able to be slowed, and to use a speed boost to run away, right? Basically, the major negative to free action potion is that your enemy still has a potion they can use, and if that's something as simple as a swiftness potion, that could be a problem. If you already haven't jumped on them, you can charge with intercept. But if you do get on top of them with intercept, and you do get a hamstring on them, the next best thing, of course, is for your enemy to free action potion, and or to already have free action potion active, because you free action potion, so now they can't be slowed, you can't be slowed, you can't be stunned, they can't be stunned, you can't be snared, they can't be snared, and it just comes down to who the hell has the better speed boost. So that's one way to do it. Hopefully the warriors don't mess that up. But rocket boots can be a fickle mistress. That's just how it goes. If you have to sit there and deal with a warrior's nonsense, like if you have to actually take what's about to happen to you on the chin, the stone scale eel potion, the plus 2k armor pot is really, really good. Highly advised you actually pre-pop that for the duel. With a warrior, other things to pre-pop, of course, are major fire protection potion for obvious reasons. It helps a warrior with their burst. How do I put this? I honestly think if you're not wearing rocket boots versus a warrior, you're asking to die. Like, that's probably the TLDRs. If you're not using goblin rocket boots versus a warrior, you're probably asking to die. Because all the warrior has to do is he has to find his damn free action potion, he has to find his recklessness, or just be a damn warrior, and to jump on you, and if you rocket boot, he rocket boots, and the next thing you know, things are going to get real frisky between the two of you. Also, Rocket Helm is actually really, really good, because that's one of the only ways, I think, you can actually CC a warrior while free action potion is active. Mind control cap, of course, is also there. And alright, let's move on. Alright, rogues. Very scary, especially with Thistle Tea. Super dangerous with free action potion, living action potion, restoration potion. They are basically like warriors, but either faster or slower depending upon the circumstances. But their playstyle is almost identical to warriors. They really
Oh my god!
Burst.
605? It's the highest I've ever hit.
Of the damage is energy based and CD based. So when they're low energy or they're low on cooldowns, they're nowhere near as scary as when they actually have all of their cooldowns. So the best way to deal with a rogue is just to gear to survive their nonsense. And once you survive their nonsense and their CDs start going on cooldown and they start having issues, then you can even consider going offensive against them. The only other way to really go against them is to... they're very susceptible to stuns. Rogues have no way of getting out of stuns with the exception of using their potion, specifically a living action or a free action potion. Once stunned, they have no way of actually getting out of it with a living action potion. So they either need a preemptively free action potion, which will give them 30-second stun immunity, or they have the living action potion out of the first stun that comes their way. They are super susceptible to stuns, and because of this, they have some major kiting issues, if that makes any sense. So how do we counter them? Most heavily armored classes can actually easily counter them just by stacking a shit ton of armor. finding your damn 2K armor pot, major healing potions. Rogues hate major healing potions. They hate a bunch of things. They really don't like fire or nature protection potions pre-popped but before a duel. Like, god damn, do they not like those? Because a lot of their killing burst is actually fire damage. We're talking like Goblin Mortar, Goblin Sapper, Goblin Bomb Dispenser. Let's see. Gear swapping is a really big deal versus rogues. You preferably want to be unkillable while they have all their CDs, and then once things start slowing down and they try to kite you out or something like that, you can swap over to whatever gear you want to try to finish them off. Let's see. Oh, the other two things interesting about these guys is that even though they can kick, it is 100% worth your while to make them kick. The reason for this is because for rogues, kicking you costs 10 energy, which is basically the same as you getting a heal off. And for warriors, them kicking you and them hamstringing you costs them 10 rage, which is also the same as you basically getting a heal off. So definitely make them use their energy when they don't want to have to use their energy. You heal, you make them kick you. You heal them, you make them kick you. You make these jackasses kick you. All right. Best thing to do against rogues, honestly, is whatever's going to cause you to survive a warrior popping free action potion of recklessness will probably cause you to survive a rogue doing something similar. So, for example, kiting out their nonsense. Like, let's say you PvP trinket their stun and you just book it off into Narnia. One thing that really comes to mind is the Restoration Potion. You can look it up. Rogues absolutely despise Restoration Potions, I do believe. I could be wrong about that. I would actually have to try to look that up on like a WoW head or something like that. Let me pause the video and pull up Restoration Potion real fast.
Yeah, it gets rid of their poisons.
Oh, are we doing this again? Yeah. The moment I type P, it always... I hate it. Alright, where's Restoration? Oh, Sean. Come on, you can do it. What the... Restorative?
Restorative potion.
There we go. Jesus. Restorative potion.
It's too far away.
Alright, Restorative Potion. Removes one magic, curse, poison, and disease effect on you every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. Magic, curse, poison, disease effect on you every 5 seconds for 30 seconds. Paladins with this thing use it to kill mages. Mages die screaming if you have a Restoration Potion because, you know, they can't sheep you basically for 30 seconds.
Restorative Potion.
Pretty damn quickly. Warlocks hate it for a variety of reasons. Everybody hates this damn thing. It's not removing stun from you, but it makes you kind of immune to blinds, which is really annoying. The only other thing is the Scarab Husk Shield. Husk. Alright, search Husk. It doesn't have enough armor to really be a Black Husk Shield. Doesn't have enough armor to really talk about it. You get this off of a rare spawn in the cave in wetlands. There we go. A spider deep in the cave in wetlands.
I can't cast
No
Attempts
fucking
to cure
way.
Use. It's a
Oh
shield
my.
that has an on-use effect. Attempts to cure one poison effect on the target and one more poison effect every 2 seconds for 8 seconds, 5-minute cooldown. I haven't really found a use for that, but it does exist, so keep that in mind. Just being a dwarf, rogues hate just being a dwarf Jesus. Rogues can actually be a rather scary matchup, so you have a plan versus them. Thistle Tea is no joke. I'm not entirely sure if Thistle Tea shares a cooldown with the free action and living action potions, but if it does, or if it doesn't, you know, God help you. Need to have a plan for dealing with rogues. Rogues really struggle to kill people if you're allowed to do anything before you die. Because the sheer act of you being able to do something as a class usually means you're going to find your major mana potion, you're going to find your Whipper Tuber, and you're going to gain a lot of HP. And I just absolutely hate it when people start healing themselves. Or if you're a shaman, you have like a tremor, or a shaman, nature swiftness, or if you're a druid and you whatever their equivalent of nature swiftness is. They just boom, you just heal a bunch of people. Like, god damn it. Or if you're like a paladin and you just Edward the Odd them, and then you just heal. any kind of healing you're doing while a rogue is attacking you is extraordinarily detrimental to the rogues. If that makes any sense. Kiting is fine, but they've got, you know, they've got the
I'm out of
sprint, and their sprints remove that slows from spect or some crap like that. So it's kind of annoying to try to kite. You usually just have to like suffer their shenanigans and outlive them, and then when they start running low on CDs and stuff, you can turn around. All right, mage. Sheep, eat, drink, burst, rinse and repeat till critical strike chance kills enemy. So the mage's win condition basically centers around his critical strike chance. They will burst on you. I have an entire video, that, but keep in mind that the video is paladin focused.
I need to get
But I have an entire like hour-long video talking about how exactly to be unkillable as a paladin to priests on Era, despite the fact that you're running around in pure DPS gear. Some of it has to do with fire resistance, but most of it has to do with just knowing how to move against a mage and knowing how their burst actually works. Generally speaking, however, they have about 10 seconds.
Good God.
Cough for a sec there. Generally speaking, they have about 10 seconds to try to burst you out inside of the counter spell, obviously, right? Certain other classes have other win conditions against them, but generally speaking, they're trying to burst you within the confines of a counter spell. The other important thing to note is just how much of their burst is actually fire damage, and it's very easy. Like one thing about everybody's burst in classic World of Warcraft, it is I talked about this in part 1. It is extremely fire damage based centric. Why? Because it's always going to be the same. It's always going to be Goblin Mortar combined with Goblin Bomb Dispenser, because Goblin Bomb Dispenser is the only trinket in the entire game that is a burst trinket that doesn't share any cooldown with any other burst trinket in the entire game. Goblin Mortar is just a well-rounded offensive and defensive monster on a relatively short cooldown, so those two are going to go together. And then because you're using Goblin Mortar, which has a stun and it has a bunch of damage associated behind it, you don't need to use a Thorium Grenade anymore. Next thing you know, you can use a Goblin Sapper Charge. So bursting always, the best burst in the the best burst possible in the entire game is always going to involve 3 things: Goblin Sapper Charge, Goblin Mortar, and Goblin Bomb Dispenser, which can all be in your face at a moment's notice. Right? We clear on that? Cool. That's a lot of fire damage. Rogues, warriors will drop a lot of fire damage on you. Rogues will drop a lot of fire damage on you. Priests will drop a lot of fire damage on you. Mages will drop a lot of fire damage on you. The 2 highest bursting classes, okay, that's not good. The 3 highest bursting classes in the game are Mage, Elemental Shaman, and Destro Warlock. Guess which one of those 3 doesn't actually have fire damage in their burst? None of them. Cool? We cool with that? And then everybody else's burst in the game has fire damage anyways because of Thorium Grenades and Sapper Charges and Goblin Wooders and all that stuff, right? What am I trying to tell you here? Fire resist is actually a really big deal in Classic WoW. If you are a serious PvPer and you do not know how fire resist works, if you have not watched my video on fire resist, you are doing something wrong. The TLDR on fire resist is basically this. Once you start getting above about 100 fire resistance or 120 fire resistance, somewhere around there, it completely pushes off 0% resist from the table. Meaning that every time a fire spell hits you, it's going to be 25% resisted at a minimum. At an absolute minimum. And since everybody's burst in the entire fucking game has fire resist behind it, not trying to get fire resist on your character is usually kind of stupid. I don't know about Makaraz, but generally speaking, as a general rule in PvP, not having fire resist means you better have something else you're doing, specifically like trying to burst people out of existence using X, Y, and Z. We're not doing a fire resist thing, blah, 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 right? From the word go, you can easily get plus 20 fire resist to helm, plus 25 fire resist to pants. These come at the expense of 100 HP to head and pants. which may or may not be better for you when trying to counter resistances. For Paladin, it's not even a question because those 2 enchants plus our Fire Resist aura gets us to 100. You throw like 15 Fire Resist or whatever on your cape, and the next thing you know, you've already hit the break point of pushing 0% resistance off, and you're significantly harder to kill in a burst just because everybody's burst has Fire Resist. Next thing you know, you start adding other bits, like, on my gearing, it's like most people's tier 1 and tier 2 sets have Fire Resist on them. Of the Onyxia Tooth Pendant, which is an amazing neck piece early on, has Fire Resist. Fire Resist is a weird stat in Classic World of Warcraft because it's just tacked on to gear that's already pretty damn good. It's not like the other resistances where it's like, oh, you want resist on your gear, you have to sacrifice stats. You want this resist, you have to sacrifice stats. You want that resist, you have to sacrifice stats. Fire Resist is just on gear, seemingly for no fucking reason. It would be gear you'd wear anyways, and then you examine the benefit you get from Fire Resist. Anyways, I'm going off on a Fire Resist. Just know that versus mages, it is really, really good. So, weak to resist and HP stacking. Mages are extremely weak to resistance gear and HP stacking. They are particularly weak to Fire Resist stacking. Why is this? Because just like Fire Resist is a special ability in Classic World of Warcraft, Frost Resist is the other special ability in Classic World of Warcraft. No matter how much Frost resistance you have, so let's say you have 200 Frost resistance, with a 50% damage reduction. You never see 25, 75, or 50% resists. Frost resist is always binary. It's always 100% resisted or 0% resisted and nothing in between. Nothing in between. Which means by the time, if you have 200 Frost resist, it's literally going to be a coin flip whether that Frost spell does full damage or no damage to you whatsoever. Alright, we clear on that? That means that while Fire Resist has some very, very powerful advantages, my bad. Fire Resist has very, very powerful advantages. Frost Resist actually kind of sucks because it's got this binary thing going on. It's either 0% or 100%, which means you really need to stack it. Which means 300 Frost Resist is doing the same job as 200 Fire Resist. You start factoring in the loss of stats, and the next thing you know, it's like, even against Frost Mages, you put fucking Fire Resist on your gear. I am not joking. Alright, let's see. Win condition is to burst the target out, waiting for good RNG lay. So, specifically, when you're playing a mage, what you're looking for is you sheep the target, you eat and drink, you stand up, and you do your first spell into the target. If that first spell that hits the sheep does not crit, there's not even a point for the mage to really consider continuing to try to burst in that target. They're a lot like a Deep Ret Paladin that way, whereas the Deep Ret Paladin hits the target first, and if he doesn't get a good proc on the first melee swing, he's not going to pull the trigger on any additional trinkets or anything else to really try to push the burst issue into the ground. Which means that they're specifically looking for that first spell to crit the target. If the first spell crits the target, then they're looking at the RNG lay. They're like, okay, at least we got the first crit. That's the part we know we can control. Let's see what the rest of the damage looks like, and if it looks good, I'll pop this guy right here, which we can see right here. This is very important to note how you counter mages. So you counter a mage with your own stun on their good RNG lays. So if you're in a sheep and you get hit with a spell and that spell crits you and it does a shit ton of damage, you immediately need to be reaching for your nade, you need to be reaching for your Goblin Mortar, you need to be reaching for your Repent, you need to be reaching for your Tidal Charm, you need to be reaching for your Goblin Rocket Hell, your Goblin Rocket Boots, whatever, your Healing Potion, your Whipper Root, your Nature Swiftness, whatever the hell it is that you have got going on. This is another reason why Goblin Mortar is so amazing, because you can use it both offensively and defensively. You need to realize that that's what the mage is waiting for. He's waiting for that first spell to crit you. You are in super, super danger of death if that first spell has crit you, and you need to act accordingly. If that's something as simple as running away from the mage until he blinks after you, and then you Goblin Mortar stun him, or you Grenade stun him, or you Tidal Charm him, or you Goblin Rocket Helm or something, yeah, he might, you know, ice block cancel out of it and continue on trying to burst you out of existence. But that just means that you're reaching for the next thing in your toolkit. You're like, oh, you got out of the grenade? Okay, fine. Here, have a goblin mortar. I'm going to continue booking it. I'll just reach for my potion, my bubble, my whatever the hell it is. All right, especially fire. Especially fire and fire resist due to it never being 0%. What the hell am I trying to say here? Blink costs 500 mana. Fire. I think I'm trying to say fire protection potion and fire resist due to it never being 0% mana. You can double stack major protection potions against a mage, and it gets kind of funky for them. So if you're dealing with a fire mage, greater frost protection potion is the potion you want to use. If you're dealing with a frost mage, you want to use a fire protection potion. Basically, you want to use the protection potion that they're not going to chew through super quickly or super instantly. But yeah, fire protection potions really screw over their burst pretty hard, but meh. Blink costs a mage 500 mana, so if you're not making a mage blink, you're doing it wrong. It is a shit ton of mana for a mage to blink. Super important that you make mages blink either in the chase after you or in the chase to get away from you. Alright, moving on. Oh, they're also really susceptible to be geared swapped on. So you start fighting a mage with resistance gear. Again, follow the rules. Start by fighting them in resistance gear. Once they start getting low on mana and they're only surviving from drink to drink to drink, then you can swap it with some more DPS oriented gear and go after them. Again, we're talking unrestricted dueling, Akaraz, duels to the death, that kind of thing. Alright, Priest. Oh boy, it's gonna be a long video. Scary racials. Yeah, they get some insane, crazy racials. Holy crap. So fighting one priest to another is a completely different animal. So the top priests are Night Elf.
I need to get
I'm not going to put Dwarf on the list, even though they do have Fear Ward. Technically, Dwarf is there, I suppose. Undead is there as well, and then probably the scariest of them all is Troll. So Trolls are terrifying because they get some extra dot shit going on. Maybe they're not super terrifying. I don't know. Night Elves are one of the scariest priests to duel. If you see a Night Elf priest, that's a PvPer. That is not a PvEer. They are not fucking around. Shadow Belt Meld on a priest is cancerous ass. It's cancer on hunters for similar reasons, because they'll run off into Narnia and they'll go invisible and they'll start eating and drinking, and even with you kind of knowing where they are, they can get some extra ticks in, and it makes it really real pain in the ass. But the other priests are equally annoying because they basically tell fear to get bent because of their racials. Really scary stuff. They're absolutely amazing in spirit gear. If you're a priest and you're not using spirit gear, you're kind of insane. Just because there's a lot of classes that can actually grind you into pulp if you don't have spirit gear. Priests are in a weird place because it's like they both don't mind their enemy to have spirit gear because it means they need less mana burns to get them down to a critical mana level. But at the same time, they have to keep mana burning the target, or the target will regenerate mana super fast. I'm talking like when you're level 60, you're getting something stupid like 100 mana per tick in Spirit Gear, which is like that's a ridiculous amount of MP5. That's let me think. That's 50 per second times. So that's like 250 MP5. And they can't cast spells because they don't have any mana, so they're just going to sit there and spirit regen in your face, and it's actually kind of terrifying. Which means they're going to get to be able to heal very, very quickly. They'll use major mana potions and night dragon fruit to very quickly get heals in. So how you beat priests as a paladin basically is they'll mana burn all your mana away, but then they have trouble keeping your mana at 0. It doesn't take very long before you can just use a dragon fruit to get a holy light off. If that holy light is a crit heal and it's a free crit heal, it's going to cost them a mana burn to get rid of it, which is super painful for the priest. The next thing you know, you're using a mana potion to top yourself off again, which is really annoying. You have bubble and bandage, which can keep you in the fight. And if you have any kind of spirit gear going on, God help the priest, or MP5, blah, 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 blah. Really, we just use... you get the idea. Those are the only takeaways from Paladin PvP that are viable outside of the class specifics. Fear Run, Drink, Mana Burn, Fear Run, Drink. They are super amazing at grinding people down. The only classes that can really mess with them in this context are Warlock to a degree. Druids can tango in the grinding game. What other classes can really mess with a priest in the grinding game? Hunters, yeah, because they're... I have it here somewhere. Yeah, in the weaknesses, their dispel is 258 mana. That's their biggest weakness. Is in order for them to dispel, they have to use a shit ton of mana to dispel. So Viper Sting really screws them over pretty hard. A bunch of other things that you think wouldn't be effective against them end up being effective because they have a super high mana cost on their dispel. They're very weak to resistances. You stack Shadow Resist against the priest, they're gonna hate their lives. Very suck for them. But again, if they're in spirit gear and they know what they're doing, they're gonna do some scary stuff to you. They're just gonna find their whole reason to get bad. Kind of mana issues of not being played. Alright, playstyle varies versus enemy in general. They want to start being killable in Stamina Intellect gear, and then move into Stamina Spirit gear, and then grind targets into pulp. This is 100% the case. If they basically are grinding monsters, they fear you, they run away, they eat, they drink, they fear you, they run away, they eat, they drink. If they have spirit gear and they're in a dueling tournament and they're not allowed to eat and drink, it doesn't matter, they just keep running away, let spirit doing its damn job. Super hard to put down if they're in Stamina Spirit gear and are playing themselves correctly. The correct way to beat a priest is to wait for them to get low on mana, low on resources, and then to find a way to jump all over them and just beat them into the dirt. So that would be like we have down here in the counters. No good counters. Either have to burst them down or grind them using Shadow Resist gear. Shadow Resist gear is the only weakness other than the spell cost issue. So here's how you grind them into pulp. Can use Mithril Insignia plus PvP Trinket plus a natural fear resist or other anti-fear abilities to get a very long period of time target on them. This is the best kill window when resources are low. So if you try to sit on... Basically when they have like 20% mana and they're surviving on fumes and you're surviving on fumes and that kind of a scenario, now's the time to pull out the Mithril Insignia into PvP Trinket, and ideally to wait for a natural fear resist before you go, it's go time, motherfucker, and just sit on them for like a full minute and grind them. That's how you do it as a shaman. That's how you do it as a druid. That's how you do it as a warlock, and that's even the messed up part. Is that's how you do it as a warlock. Even a warrior, you're probably dead before you can even use this. But Mithril Insignia and PvP Trinket and stuff, even for warriors, it isn't the worst idea in the world. You'd think you'd have enough fear resist, but priests take so fucking long to die. Holy shit! They're gonna make you use it. What else we got going here? Next classes. Okay, Warlock and Shaman. Alright, so I'm just going to read. Sustain, Warlock. Sustain and reset grinding monster. Super hard for most classes to burst out. Also can burst. Yeah. Warlocks, unless you specifically have a Dispel. So that's going to be, not Dispel, Purge. They're called Purges. So Dispels are defensive and Purges are offensive. So for example, Shamans have Purge and Priests have Dispel. The Dispel of a Priest is both offensive and defensive, so it's simultaneously a Dispel and a Purge. It could be used offensively and defensively. The Shaman Purge can only be used offensively, and the Paladin Cleanse can only be used defensively. As a general terminology rule, any spell, any dispel that's being used offensively, we call a purge, and any spell that's being used defensively, we call a cleanse. You follow me on this? Okay, cool. So sometimes you'll hear me say things like the priest is cleansing themselves, or the priest is purging. Sometimes you'll hear me say, yeah, and that's the only weird one, right? Okay, so unless the target has the ability to purge, and the only targets that can really purge in this game are shamans and priests.